Today, it's September the 17th, 2016. I want to go over a few things about how more things were inserted, or I should say taken out and other things inserted into the Bible that does not belong there. And in the very beginning of the Bible is no exception. And I'm going to go ahead and start with, like I said at the beginning, where it talks about he created the heaven and the earth, and he created light. And in each case, you will see in King James that Elohim is referred to as he, even though he is not written in there. Okay? Now, when you go to creating man, verse 26, and Elohim said, "Let us make man in our image." It doesn't say that. The word is accomplish, or asa, accomplish. It's in 6213. Elohim said, he uttered, accomplish man an image, or tsalam. Now, of course, we're translating from Hebrew. So in Old Hebrew, there are certain words that they don't use that we use in English to help translate it better. So in English, what they did, in every case about creation, it referred to Elohim as he. But then as soon as man is created, they suddenly interpret it as us. Why did they do that? Us is not there. Us is not there. It says right here, and I'm going to read it as it says. I'm not going to use the word God, though, because it is incorrect to say that. And Elohim said, "Let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over all the creeping things upon the earth." So Elohim created man in his... Wait a minute. Why didn't they just continue with the thought? Why didn't they just say, if they were going to start off with saying, and Elohim said, "Let us make man in our image," why didn't they continue with this translation and to say, so Elohim created man in their own image? And in the image of Elohim created he them. It says male and female he created them. That's Adam and Eve. But when referring, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? And yet your preacher seizes upon this mistranslation here by saying, "Oh, you see, Elohim was us." Elohim is 430 in Hebrew Strong's Concordance. It In English it is translated as this: divine, divine being, singular, exceedingly, and they use the term God, but again, singular, and so on and so forth. Now, they go down here in Brown, Drivers, and Briggs, and they go and say it's plural in number. And you go down further, it also refers to the angels. But Jehovah refers to himself as the King of angels. I will show you something here. We'll try Zechariah 1 and verse 3, where it says Lord of hosts. And let's see what this means. Lord is Jehovah every time in the Old Testament. It's not Yeshua. Okay? Of hosts. Hosts, it's referred to, it is in Hebrew, Saba, 6635. And it refers to an army or armies, plural. Legions of angels. So he's the king of angels. And if the angels are also referred to as Elohim, then Jehovah is the king of the angelic realm. Of course, we know this. But for them to go and after all this Genesis 1, where it talks about Elohim, he created what he created, not what they created. To just go and insert us, let us make man in our image, is confusing. And Jehovah is not the author of confusion. Therefore, the confusion was added in there by another source. Translators, folks. And there are many, many, many more of these things in the Bible. And I know people will try to start telling me, oh, the beginning is not Genesis 1 and verse 1, it is John 1. John 1 only does an exact replica of what is written in Genesis 1. I'll show you that too. And of course, people, the preacher deceives the people using the word logos to deceive. I'll show you something here. I'm going to try to see if it works better in Aramaic plain English. Maybe it does. Okay. Oh. Before I continue, I'm going to go ahead and read this in King James because there's really no difference in the Aramaic. As a physical, dying human being, I have within me seed. Life can come from my body if I so choose. Bearing that in mind, let's read John 1 and verse 1. In the beginning was the Word. All right, what does the Word mean? The breath. That breath was the words that said, it came out of the mouth of the Father of Elohim, of Jehovah, that said, let there be light. So when he spoke the word, there came light. The words that came out of his mouth. The word is 3056 logos. Now, they say it is a spirit. Okay. Let's see what it says here. Why in the world would they say what they're saying here when it comes from 3004 lego, which means speaking to a conclusion. In other words, you speak and what happens concludes that it happens, it exists. Okay? A word being the expression of a thought, a saying. It's something that you speak. Now, he also spoke a word when he spoke to Eve, when he said, your seed and the serpent's seed would be at odds with each other, would be at war with each other. That her seed would smash the head of the serpent's seed, and that the serpent's seed would bite the heel of the woman's seed. That is the word that came forth out of the mouth of Elohim, or Jehovah. And so, when he spoke that word, the promise was made, set in stone. And at that point in time was the one who was to come later, made manifest earlier. And yet at no time did that one, that Messiah, do any action until his birth. I have shown this many times. In the prophets. And when they say the word was with Elohim, or with Jehovah, yes. In the beginning. What beginning? When the promise, the word, was promised to Eve. At that point in time, there was an appointed seed reserved for that day when Gabriel came to Mary with the announcement. And let nobody try to tell you differently. And I'll make my point here. Isaiah 45 and verse 6. I'll start in verse 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel my elect. I know the Gentiles hate that. Well, it's too bad. I have called you by your name. I have surnamed you, though you have not known me. I am Jehovah. And there is no one else. No one else. There is no Elohim beside me. Let's look at this in Strong's. Let's make sure that I'm saying what I'm saying right here. It's exactly what it says. There is no Elohim besides me, or except only Him. So we've got a problem with you preachers, your preachers, that you people have been paying with your money. You have sanctioned these lies. You have done it. And because of it, you're deceived. If you believe what your preachers tell you. Once again, I'm asking everyone to get the Holy Name Bible. It's $40 if you get the leather-bound version. And undo the brainwashing that has happened. Do it as soon as you possibly can. Save yourself from the delusions and from the falsehoods. Because Paul had a few things to say about that. The truth. All right. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 11. I'll start in verse 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love for the truth. If you do not seek out the truth, this is what happens to you. That they might be, in other words, that they might be saved if they were to receive the truth. And for this cause, Jehovah shall send them strong delusions that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Folks, lies. Lies written in books. Words taken out of the scripture and false ones added in are the description of what we just read. Unrighteousness. And those who have pleasure in unrighteousness will also have pleasure in gross mistranslations. So once again, I encourage everyone to get a Holy Name Bible.